A very warm welcome for all of you who are watching us from across the world on DSTV channel 299. My name, as always, is Eugene Anangwe, and this is In Focus. It's been a sporty day, and of course, from the International Peace Marathon, we move on to that particular mood and tone of sports. And our focus tonight on In Focus is on the issue of the growing phenomenon of sports betting and gambling in Rwanda and across the region. Now, sports betting and other forms of gambling are becoming a phenomenon across Africa, and betting over which sports team might win has become a multi-million-dollar industry. It is actually said that by the year 2022, the global gambling market could be worth $635 billion according to new findings by Dublin-based Research and Markets. Now, more and more African sports lovers, including here in Rwanda, are turning to sports betting as the multi-billion-dollar industry continues to grow. Officials in Ghana have actually expressed concerns over how the youth are getting addicted. Here at home, there are mixed reactions on the growing sports betting and gambling phenomenon. So tonight on the program, we are asking our question, which is, which way forward in regulating this sector? We have a great panel, and of course, I want just to be introducing them right about now so that we can be able to set the ball rolling. With us right here, we have Jules Karangwa, who is actually a sports presenter and a law graduate from the University of Rwanda. Jules, thank you for joining us on the program.
Thank you too.
Also with us is the regulator himself, and it's none other than Jean-Claude Mushimire, who is the Services Industry Development Policy Officer in charge of gaming activities regulatory at the Ministry of Trade, Industry and East Africa Affairs. And also with us on the program is Caroline Ndinya, who's making a return on the program. Thank you so much, Caroline, for joining us. You are a school administrator and a person who is totally against this whole habit or behavior of gambling and sports betting. I'm going to start with Jules Karangwa. Jules, for you, actually, you have said it many times, and even before we went on air, you have actually said you're not planning to stop sports betting or gambling. And it is actually said that you spend half of your salary to put a bet on which team is going to win. So I want just to understand from you, because many people have been asking, even on Twitter, how do you put such amount of money in such a thing? Why?
Actually, you have to do it wisely. You have to do it wisely. The mere fact that I do place betting in my everyday life, it doesn't mean I'm wasting my money for nothing. It does mean I'm investing my money. So as long as betting in Rwanda, it is in compliance with the already set laws, which are already in place. You've been saying it. The law which was implemented in 2011, this is something which brings the legal framework
to guide
the sports betting here in Rwanda.
So why put half of your salary, Jules? Half of your salary? You're not scared that you lose? Now go home.
This is as if you are taking your money, your salary, and invest it in any other kind of business. I'm taking this issue of betting as another form of business and as an investment.
So you're an entrepreneur and in the category of sports betting.
Of course.
Caroline Ndinya, for you, let's just have a quote of you, which you actually said that I don't believe and can't support gambling and betting. This is a quote from you on what you said, and I'm sure it's going to be also placed on the screen. And you said that you do not believe and you cannot support gambling and betting, and you'd rather plan and invest the little resources that you have than gamble. It only leads to more worries, debts, and problems. This is what you said. Listening to what Jules says, that for him he sees it as an investment in his salary, actually. He's an entrepreneur in the sector of sports betting and gambling. What are your thoughts on this?
Eugene, I really don't understand this young man. Because when you say you're taking your salary, whether it's 300,000, whether it's 30,000, and you put it in something that you are not sure whether you're gonna get it or not, at that particular time, I really get worried. I don't know, maybe he's a young man, but I wouldn't say he's such a young man, because there are also elderly people who are really participating in this gambling thing. In the whole thing, I look at it as, if I had 30,000 Rwandan francs, That is my salary. Maybe say that's what I'm earning. I know if I have 30,000 Rwandan francs, my rent or where I stay, I keep 10,000.
Yeah.
I am left with 20,000.
Yeah.
I know I'm budgeting with 20,000 by buying food, my transport. End of the month, I'm not worried.
Yeah.
But if I decide to take half of the money and put it in the SportPesa, Lucky Bets, hoping that I'm going to get some money. Remember,
But the argument is that, you know, businesses take risks. You have to take risks.
that's okay.
In
We
business.
are taking a risk.
Yes.
We take risk by getting loans from the bank, Eugene, isn't
Yes.
it?
Yes.
And we invest in the loan, isn't it? This is money I personally took. But this young man is saying that he earns 30,000 Rwandan francs. He takes 20,000 and bets, hoping to get 90 or 100. Fine. Should he get good? What if he doesn't get? He will be worried. And by the way, when you really do these betting things,
Maybe you're answering for him. Would you be worried? Are you ever worried? Before we bring in our friend from the ministry, the regulators, are you ever worried about what Caroline is concerned about? Is that your concern
No,
even?
that is not my concern, because when we talk about gambling, it's all about consideration, chance, and earning. So this is a business in itself. So which means for me, I said earlier that I have to do it wisely.
just a minute, how wisely is this? Maybe you have some knowledge or some wisdom, isn't it? What about this young man who is in senior 6 or senior 3, isn't it? Who decides to take his school fees? Are you getting that? And put in the gambling, hoping to get more. How wise are you, please?
That is where I will maybe involve Mr. Claude, because this is the responsibility of the government.
Yes.
This is the responsibility of the state
Yes.
to educate people, to improve the mentality of people about how doing sports betting, how can we do sports betting, how wisely can we do the sport-based betting, because at times you find this business, as I call it, this business or this investment, sometimes it is over the mindset of people we have here in Rwanda. Sometimes people get involved themselves in betting, hoping that they are going to
win.
directly
Win.
and some money.
Right.
So you have to do it in a way of that you already planned.
So you have to plan.
You have to plan it. If you earn 100,000 Rwandan francs per month, you're not going to put all that money.
I'm going to come back to you, but let's bring in my friend Jean-Claude, because you say you have to plan, but I'm wondering, how do you plan to win and how do you plan to lose?
Exactly.
Because this is a situation of, you know, chances and bahati nasibu. This is what they say. But Jean-Claude, you know, in July 2016, while explaining why the government of Rwanda had suspended what we call slot gaming machines, in an interview that you did with the New Times of Rwanda, you actually said, and I quote, that the slot machines need to be well regulated because we realized the business has started to be operational at a large scale and spanning out of control. There has been public outcry. Even minors were now playing.
Exactly.
Looking at this particular statement, which you made in 2016, this is just last year, was the ministry sounding a warning alarm that, hey guys, this is a red flag, there's danger here, addiction levels are growing high, and therefore there is need to actually up our game in dealing with this issue? What is the current state of affairs in a nutshell when it comes to this particular situation?
Yeah, let's talk about where we start. We start with the started point where gambling, which is baptized the gaming, is considered as a vice or a sin, which can be managed or controlled, to be minimize the risk from the society. But it's inevitable, where we want or not, that the gaming will take place, but the good from the country or the government is to put in place effectively mechanism for the regulation frameworks. Where we're talking about that is an experience like a regulator will get, where many machines come to the industry without the permit or without a license. Is where we caught this in the New Times. But there's no worry for anything, because the ministry has put every regulation framework to regulate this industry.
So there's regulation frameworks and there's no cause for worry. This is what you're saying?
Yeah, there's no cause for worry.
But how do you deal with this perception of youth addiction that seems to be cropping up in the issues of gambling and sports betting?
We have a law. We have a law number 59 starts 2011, which was adopted on 30th December 2011, which governing the gaming activity in Rwanda. It's clear. The youth is not allowed to bet or to make gaming activities.
Youth at what age? Because youth
18 age.
from 18, under 18.
Under 18 is not allowed to make the bet, even if it's not allowed to enter in the premises. Because we need to understand how the regulation go through. If we need to understand how the regulation through, we can know how the youth can be protected. When we started to put the regulation frameworks out when we put the gaming law, but the gaming law cannot be operationalized as a standard point.
But I don't see.
Yes. Yes.
I really like your idea of saying that the government has that law that must be followed. But just forgive me, what about these people from the village, or not only the youth, all right? I'm talking about a couple, all right? Basically working for their daily bread, all right? They have 2 children, they have to pay school fees or something like that. So I would call them the people without that knowledge of this should not happen. And this lady decides to take the money, or this gentleman decides to take the money and put in gambling or in something like that. What are we doing to such families, please?
Thanks for the question, because the law is explained very well. A family, a person who is addicted from the gaming is not allowed to do the gaming.
But how do you stop them?
That is what
That's
I'm
the
going
question.
through.
How
That's
do you
what I'm
stop
going
them?
through.
Yes.
That's the
How do you
mechanism.
even discover
That's
as
the
a regulator?
mechanism.
How do you discover as a regulator and identify that this person, Jules Karangwa, is actually addicted, and so we have to stop him? Are you going to police him wherever he goes? Make sure that Jules doesn't take part in sports
This is the
betting?
mechanism also I'm talking about. When the gaming is not doing it herself. There's to be a company to apply for a gaming license. When you apply, there's a requirement through the Ministerial Order which is determining the procedure to getting a gaming license and the relevant fees, which has been adopted in 2013. When you apply, we consider everything: how to regulate the industry, how your premises there is no minor will enter, how the person who is addicted. For example, if my wife is addicted from the gaming, I can go from a judicial court. I tell them my wife is addicted from the gaming. They give me a decision or cut a decision. When I go to the companies who put in place of carrying out the gaming activities, they will put the pictures, they put everything. This is the companies know that.
What about if it's a gentleman who is addicted and your wife keeps on telling you, stop spending the family money on this gaming or something like that? Is she going to report you, take some action about you?
They can go to the companies, tell them my husband is addicted from the gaming. If he's addicted to the gaming, the companies, they have the right to put the pictures.
Come on, Jean-Claude. Wait. I want to understand this before we ask Jules also for his personal experience in this as far as issues of dealing with people, his colleagues, and probably he knows some who have been addicted and stuff like that. But what you're saying is that a company that practices sports betting or, gambling, that is out to make money out of this person, are you trying to tell us here on live TV that that company will be able to chase this person away?
I think so. The company cannot do that
because you're saying the companies should be able to
Yeah.
identify that this person is addicted and therefore stop them from coming.
It's
Put
why
their
they
pictures
are
and
the
stuff.
regulator. We have districts,
Yes.
we have sectors, we have the village, we have any kind of the administration here in Rwanda. They can go to the sectors, they can go to the village, they say, my husband is going to take all the money to the gambling. The district can inform the district up to the regulator. The regulator can also require the company that they can put this picture for every company that this person, if they enter, you get the problem as a companies. We have the Rwandan have every standard point from the administration administrative. Yeah, this is why I'm talking about it. It's why I'm talking about that. Most of the company, they know that about that. We know about that. We continue to our campaign to educate people in Rwandan about the gambling,
Right.
about who is allowed to do the gambling, how people can take the advantage of the gambling, or how they can protect their family, like he said. This is the regulation framework.
Right.
We need to work together and to
Right. We'll delve a deeper into the issue of regulations, but of course, Jules, as a person who openly says here that, for me, by the way, it was really difficult to have someone who participates in sports betting and gambling to sit on that seat that you're sitting on.
Really?
Yes, there's sort of this feeling that why should people see me?
Why should they be ashamed?
Yes,
Yeah.
tell me about that. Why is it that it is actually associated with a feeling of shame and a feeling, probably stigma, if you actually participate in sports betting and then gambling?
I don't really know the reason why, because everyone has his reasons when he's intending to enter sports betting. But for me, the main reason lies to the fact that I gave earlier. I said it is also the government has done much, much as far as the regulatory framework is concerned regarding the gambling and sports betting here in Rwanda. Yeah. But there is also still a lot to do, because the government, they know we have people who don't have enough knowledge, enough capacity on how because this gambling and sports betting industry, it is still in its infancy here in Rwanda. So we really need to put the regulatory framework up there as they have done it, but we really also need to improve the mindset, the mentality of people here out there. I don't see it as an issue that sports betting is taking apart families, is a reason why most of families are divorcing. Yeah. I don't see that as a problem.
So you say you don't see it as an issue.
Yes.
Jean-Claude also says there's no cause for alarm. Caroline, why do you feel that there is cause for alarm?
You asked a very good question to this, Jules. Yes. Why people are ashamed to come and sit here and talk about I'm an addict, or I bet, or I gamble. The people are ashamed because if we look at the research, or if we do a research and look at the people who participate in gambling or betting, few people have gained. Are you getting that? But majority have lost. And when we can see the way the majority have lost, wait. When we see the way the people have lost, what happens is their life becomes negative. Are you getting that? What am I talking about? This leads some young people. I want to bet, so I have 10,000 Rwandan francs. I will bet with 5,000, all right? Tomorrow I'll bet with 5. What am I going to do? I'm going to be tempted to start borrowing. This is my fear. Man, can you lend me 5,000? Are you getting that? Can you lend me 5,000? All right? You see, that's the worries I was talking about. Getting hopeful that I'm going to hit 50,000. Yeah. And you see, after a long time, you may hit it once. You see, you are in debt. I believe things are not going on in your life because your mind is so much into that betting or something like that. If you're not mature enough like you, Jules, all right, with that knowledge and that understanding, which everybody does not have, it leads to a lot of problems. Right. That's what I feel, please.
Right. We're going to talk a bit about that, but still, I want to bring in another dimension in this conversation, and it's on the issue, for example, if you look at what he says, I look at it as a business, as an entrepreneur. But most people actually say that entrepreneurs and foreign companies are actually pocketing millions thanks to the gambling boom. For example, in Kenya, we have reports that are indicating that SportsPesa, for example, is earning at least about 40 million euros in revenues. The same can be said of betting companies in countries like Ghana, which rake in millions in revenues. Which brings us to the question from the regulator point of view and Miniacom. Who benefits in this sense? Because some people say that those sports betting companies are the ones who are benefiting at the expense of young people who are trying their luck and in many cases losing out. Who benefits from sports betting and gambling?
Thanks, Anagwe. We should consider that the gambling generated revenue from the state and can contribute to the economic growth. Let's talk the figures. Let me talk about the figures. In 2016, the gaming industry contributed to the taxes on Rwanda Revenue Authority 1 billion 6 million.
1 billion?
1 billion 6 million. On June 2016, we have contributed to the 1 billion 6 million. They contributed to Rwanda Social Security benefits on the 365 million. We have total employees of 1,345. And also, they paid the gaming fees from 60 million from June up to June 2016. Yeah, the gaming industry, they they generate revenues.
For the economy.
For the economy.
So,
for
so,
the
so
economy
tonight,
growth.
as you sit on that seat, will you comfortably tell a family that probably is struggling from addiction, a wife who's struggling from fighting addiction, of a husband who's constantly using the little resources, that, hey, it's okay, this money is coming back into our economy, let them continue. Is this what you want to say?
No. Why there is a regulator? Why the country and the parliament put in place the regulatory authority to fight on that? One hand, we need to find that the society is not exploited. On the other hand, we need to fight on that the company who has invested, they get benefits from the investment. The third hand, we need to fight from addicted peoples, that our child, our peoples is not addicted from the revenue. And also to create the jobs. We need to, this is the integration framework where we can put together, fight together and reach on the economic growth.
Right.
Not only talk about that we contribute to the economic growth, without think about the addicted person, without think that if the country is exploited by the gaming companies.
Right.
Yeah, we need to fight
So Caroline, if you're seated there, if you were to speak on behalf, let's say, sort of the families that are probably out there, and because you view gambling and sports betting on a negative perspective.
Yes.
Listening to what he says as a regulator, that look, we've actually raked in over 1 billion in revenues. What would you be telling them?
I'll be telling him that I really don't find that to be really fair, because if you're talking about even youth, not only families, even just a single lady who is doing business, all right, I would think that she would make use of her profits by getting entrepreneurship the way Jules says it. Instead of trying to say that this month I've made like 30,000, can I put it into this gambling thing?
Yeah.
What am I talking about? I'm talking about this gambling, sport pesa thing, taking a lot of even family times. You go to a house and you find this, the husband, always on the phone. Are you getting that? Okay. And they're trying to find out. Even the wife is, can you come for your supper? Wait. Okay. In the middle of the night, this guy is waking up. He's trying to gamble, something like that. Even the children. So even all the money they were supposed to make use of, they would have planned for it, planned with it, and made use of it. Because telling me that, you know what, Carol, you and your husband should participate in Sport Pesa because we are giving back to the government or to the society. Well, I really don't understand how that really works out.
Yes.
Yeah, what is where, when we look at about the regression, is where we came like that.
Yeah.
In Rwanda, it's not allowed the internet games. Internet games is not allowed. When you go to Kenya, it's allowed. When you go to Uganda, it's allowed. People can bet on SMS. People can bet on the internet. In Rwanda, it's not allowed. Why? Because we are thinking about, we are not yet, and we are putting all the regulation that we can control who bet on the phone, who bet on the internet.
Yeah.
Is where we say we allow the physical betting, the premises, because when we are licensing a company, we check if they have a security.
Yeah.
If they can control who enter in the premises, they have cameras.
Yeah.
If the minor is not enter, even if they make it, they get the administrative sanction.
Yeah.
We talk about the specific, we look about the child if they cannot go to the bed, we look about the addicted person. This is our regulation framework. We consider it very
Right. Caroline, just before Jules comes in, spoke of going on the phones. I'm not betting. I'm not placing any bet. I just want to read some of the tweets that are coming in. And of course, they're coming in via the hashtag InFocusRW. Kindly add that hashtag. It is what our team right here is actually following to be able to send them through to me right here to be able to read them live on air. Please add the hashtag InFocusRW, and that's what we'll follow. Confiance Buchana says, sports betting fever, which way forward in regulating the sector? I'm actually waiting for your particular input on that. And you actually say that the regulator has to put tough policies on presence of under 18 on betting sites. This is what you say right there. Quizera Jackson comes and says, to me, this is not a reliable business, especially for the youth who have little to invest. We have Vincent S. Kayumba on Twitter at VS Kayumba saying that Minicom should lay strategy down there at the terrain. Under 18 children are really addicted with this part. They should watch out. Is this true or not true?
We are watching out. The company is what I tell you before. The company know that. Even if they know that the administrative sanction is higher.
Yeah.
For example, if we find a minor in your premises and we can find it, you know the administrative sanction is between 5 to 10% of your annual turnover.
How do you find them? Tell me about the teams that
from.
you have that are able to go down on this
We are
terrain
working-
that he says to find them.
Our mandate is also to make the investigation.
Yes.
To find, to see if the company has continued to pursue the law, are complying with all the requirements. That is what we do. We continue to work on. We make our effort to find that is the company follow all the requirement or the law which is in place. So you can find that some company has temporarily stopped, other company has revoked their license or has not operating the law. That is what we work on. Work on to have effective regulation frameworks. Because when a company was going on, when a company comes to have a license, they need to read the law. They need to be aware of the law. Also, they need to know that there's a ministry who determines the procedure to getting the fees. Yeah. And immediately we don't get them a final license. We start with the document, we check the document they give us, how they go to protect the industry, how go to protect the manual to enter in the premises, everything, and we give them eligibility letter. After, we go to make a physical checkup, what we call an inspection, to see that what they have talking about the paper, they are following up. That. If we find that following up is where we give them a license, but it's not end up in that. Every monthly dead basis.
Because they're looking for money, isn't it? So the 3 gentlemen have walked in, they're minor, they want to bet, all right? Do you think they will be courteous enough to tell them, sorry please, under 18 are not allowed here? Because they're also in business, they want to make money, they're paying taxes.
I think the question she's asking is, do you have inspectors constantly on the ground 24/7 anytime betting is going on at this betting centers to be able to actually back up and report to you that, hey, there's someone who has gotten here?
No, whenever there's a law, there's
here.
People who are making unlawful laws, which we make illegal. Yeah. But we fight on that. We fight on that. Is why we continue to fight on that. Yeah. Is why we put our effort to fight on that, because we know that we try to find, even if we try. Recently, when there was the case for the machines, is when Honorable Minister said, okay, let's now focus on the premises, where the premises we should be. We cannot allow the people to put the premises everywhere. Yeah. Yeah. Let's put the premises from the bar, hotel grade from 3 above. Because the children cannot go in the hotel from 3-star or 5-star to go to gambling. Yeah, we are talking about that, but we are regarding how the premises can be. Entertainment zone, in the high zone.
And when it is put in the bar after the man has drunk.
Right. We're going to take a short break. We're going to take a very short break, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for actually this very engaging conversation. Of course, keep those tweets coming. We have them still trickling in. Use the hashtag InFocus RW, and Quikiriza Jackson on Twitter is actually saying, looking at the rate at which youth are getting addicted to betting in Africa, innovation, creativity and hard work will diminish. And this, I think, is the perception that there is actually free money, that you can make money really quick. Just go and bet. Depending on luck, you'll be able to win or get this. But in the meantime, we're going to take a very short break. But before we go, let's also have a listen to some of those people we found at the betting centers on what they had to say about sports betting and gambling. And then we'll be coming back after the break to squeeze a bit more information from the regulator and my panelists right here. This is In Focus.
Betting nta n'umwari wanjye dishoboye kujya buri munsi ndatsinda nareka trove nonanti ibihumbi 40 ibihumbi 30 ibihumbi 40 amafaranga yose nashize muri customer care, nashize mu nyungu zanjye zishobora kunshimisha zigashimisha n'umuryango.
Azimisi mbetinga amaze mu mwaka wose bitewe nuko wenda nta kazi kenshi mba afite wenda kandi gukora, naza nkicara nkazana nk'icyo gihumbi cyangwa ibyo bibiri byama amahego nkaba nacyura nka 70 cyangwa 50, ariko kenshi na kenshi ndaribwa.
Beti ni ukuvuga ngo bikora umuntu n'ubundi ujuje ya myaka 18 ugomba kuba uzi kwifatira umwanzuro, nta muntu waza ngo abiguhatire kubikora.
Nta kindi kintu nanigezaho gihagije cyane, ariko kuba kibasha kuntunga kikanyambika kikanyishyura n'inzu, nta kindi kintu nayishinja. Nge irantunga nkishyura inzu nkanambara, nta kindi.
Ya sindashaka ndabiteganya. Ibyo bibazo nta ikibazo kiba gihari kiba kibareba ntabwo kiba kitureba.
Now that is the smell of a new day, new business ideas, new opportunities, and above all, a new chance to start over. Forget about the news. We want to talk about the stocks that are trading, what companies have been listed, and the exchange rate, and also the money matters, not just regionally, but also globally. Take a look. They are the right arm of every business world. The small-scale businesses, they contribute a lot to our economies, and yet they face new challenges every single day. Now, I come in to stop all that, listen to them, find a common ground, and come up with a solution. And I also give you an insight into the opportunities in their business world.
Join us every Tuesday on Business Digest.
Many people have been asking what we have been up to. Well, we have told the different stories from decision makers, but this time round it will be different. We will be getting head to head with various influencers and get to the heart of the matter. It is not an easy ride, but we'll endeavor to get you there. It will be insightful, informative, and at times we will agree to disagree because we are the bridge to your leaders.
Right, thank you so much for still being with us. This is In Focus, and my name as always is Eugene Anangwe. The hashtag, as always, is In Focus RW. Keep those thoughts coming in on the issue of the phenomenon of sports betting and gambling in Rwanda and the region. Share your thoughts, all the things you've always wanted to say about this matter tonight. Would love to read your thoughts on that and use that particular hashtag. We have a great panelist right here on the program. We have Jules Karangwa, who's actually an ardent fan of sports betting and gambling. He actually says he's not yet about to stop that. We also have Jean-Claude Mushimire, who is actually from the Ministry of Trade, Industry and East Africa Affairs. And of course, he's in charge of gaming activities regulatory. Thank you for still being with us. And we also have Carla Ndinya, who is a school administrator who is opposed completely with this issue of sports betting. Now, let's widen the scope a bit and go regional, because your ministry is also handling East African affairs. And we've seen the rate and the state of sports betting and gambling in the region, particularly in Kenya. Do we have any concerns or any worries as far as influence is concerned, and probably looking at the amounts of money the economies of Kenya is raking in from this game, to a point where we could be influenced to open up the space for betting and gambling in Rwanda?
Not at all, because the gaming industry in Rwanda is well regulated, and in our mandate we have to determining the number of the gaming company can be allowed to be in the country regarding the needs of the market.
What is the number that is needed today?
No, we cannot say the number. We make an assessment. You see, we find that there's a need. Is where we can find that in Rwanda only. We have 7 companies in the betting, which has been licensed. When we go to region, what you have talking about, it's a lot. Uganda, like 45 companies that has been licensed up now. In Kenya, it's a lot. Yeah, but in Rwanda, we have only 7 because we need to look at about our market, how the market is regulated. If the market is satisfied, we can say it's okay. If not, we can say the other company can enter. But when you see when we started to licenses 2013 up to 2017, we have only 7 companies in sport betting, we have 3 casinos, and we have 5 gaming machine facilities. You understand that we have contributed remarkably regarding the region in regulation.
So they could be opening for adding more or actually reducing?
Yeah, it's dependent on the, you cannot reducing because it's only the one country in the world when the license is for 10 years. Because we need to attract, but also to regulate. We need to have, we can have more than 100 companies. We can have 7 companies who are doing well. More than 1,200 companies who can have and make trouble on the market. Yeah, we need to continue to control the market and also to see if there's a need. If we find there's a need, we can allow another company to enter. But our market is very regulated. There can be a problem like I say, but we have together with the other operators, how we can find a solution.
Right. Yeah. Caroline, he says that they could be opening actually to increase more depending on the market needs. And does that concern you? And what would be your questions as far as ensuring that, you know, what determines whether there's need to increase more or to stay with the ones that are already licensed?
Well, if it talks from the government point of view, where they feel that they need to increase more companies, then what is this saying? That they find this thing to be really good and they want to encourage it. But back to my question, how are we going to let the other people educate them, all right? Inform them to make wise decisions, to make wise choices, to know whether the money I'm earning, should I gamble with it or I invest it in another thing? So how much education are you going to give? Because the more the company is, the more the number of people will play, all right? So my question is, or what are you thinking of, so that we are talking about people back in the villages, all right? Not within towns, who, let me give an example of a farmer who has grown some crops, has gotten some money after 3 months, all right, pineapples or whatever you call it. Then the guy takes the crops to the market. He earns this money. This is hard work the gentleman or the lady has really put into. And what happens? Because he comes to Kigali or he goes to a betting place and finds some betting going on, what does he do? His friend tells him, come on, man, yes, the other day I put 100,000 and I got 200,000.
So what you're saying is the issue of awareness creation.
And
it's a very important question before we bring in Jules here. I want to hear from you, Jean-Claude. Where does your responsibility end? And let's be a bit more factual in this sense and give the numbers or even statistics as far as this is concerned. Because honestly speaking, a lot of people are concerned. None has seen probably a communication or an advert or a group of people, probably during Muganda or any other gathering, talking about the effects or how to practice safe gambling and sports betting. What are you doing? What is your office doing in this line?
Thanks for this question. We start, like, last month was in Rubavu district, where we talk with all this 13 district with the who is in charge of the economy from the district to talk about how the gambling.
So you spoke to the officials?
No, we start. It's what I'm talking about, because it's them who dealing with the farmers, who dealing with everyone for daily basis. Because we are not here in Rubavu, we are not in Musanze, we are not every day. But them, they are there every day. We start to show them and they understand very well about that. But after that, we go to make the awareness campaign. We have put it together because what I have told to you, our gaming industry is the new. We started to license the company in 2013. When in 2017, we started to make the awareness campaign. How do we go to make the TV show? How we go to make the... This is something we need to put in place. And to think about that, there's need to be budgetized. We need a big budget on that. But we are working with the companies.
Have you done that today? I mean, I want to hear, like, how many media campaigns have you done specifically on awareness creation? Have you done any, or you're still planning?
We have done one.
You've done one.
So for 2013 up to now, we only have one, and time is going.
It's when I come to a point that we need to do more than even if every month.
I think you say the ministry has no budget, enough money to be able to...
No, don't talk about the budget for the gaming industry.
There's need for more budget, there's need for
this to be able to do that. More than that. We need to work with the operators, because there's them who they say, who get a lot of money from the betting industry. But it's not only the betting industry what we're talking about here. We're talking about even if casino, we're talking about even if the gaming machine facilities. We're talking in general, because the gambling is not based on the betting.
So they're the ones who should invest in creation of awareness.
Not them, even if as regulator, we need to talk, working on the awareness campaign. We have planned it, we have conducted like 2, but now we have found that, because now we have found that there is a need from monthly basis, there's to be an awareness program that can be go through.
Jules, listening to what he says, from 2013, since the start of the licensing of the betting and gambling companies here, the ones that you can confidently say are 2 media campaigns on this. As a person who takes part, let's talk about this, and you raise that issue as well, that there is need for more awareness, because not everybody is like you probably who's going to practice wisely, for lack of a better word. What is the missing link when it comes to the regulator as far as this issue of creation of awareness is concerned?
The missing link, I think he has talked about it. I can think they are being limited by the not enough budget, which is there to reach
not
everywhere.
Enough budget.
Not enough. I think we are not talking about the budget. Yeah, I'm talking that. I need to add that we are in the regulation what we have put in place is that every company now we have put in place that every company must have a billboard on the entrance in the premises where they can educate all ABCD. Even if not only to put the awareness campaign on the TV radio,
I think this should be
we need to put something, flowers, whatever, in the premises on interest on about that. This is what we have started to find, that how we can be effective, not only on the TV, not only on the radio, not only on the Muganda as we're talking, even if in the premises. If you enter in the premises, you find that you are not allowed to enter, because when you go now, we will send under 18 is not allowed to enter in the premises. You will find that addicted person is not allowed to gamble. But think about that. Myself, I need to understand that it is very complicated for me that to gamble when I take my money from my wife, when I take money from a husband, that is not good. Yeah, we need to continue that. It's not something
you need to continue with that. I'm told we have very little time left, and I want to read some of the tweets that have already come in through thick and fast. Let's have them so that we can be able to sample the tweets that are already here. Use the hashtag InFocus RW Pacific. Uamahor says, betting and gambling, not a good thing at all. People must understand that you can only get what you struggled for. I'm thinking he's trying to insinuate that you need to work for your money, and betting is quick money. We have Ndamira Didas, who says, I don't see any difference between sports betting and investing in stocks. Each requires skills, analysis, risks, and chance. Thank you so much. We have any other one on the screen? There you have it. Vanessa Rukundo says, makes sense, but how about the individual who goes bankrupt over that? At the end of the day, they become a burden to the government. And of course, keep them coming. Hashtag InFocusRW. We're still having them right here. Jean-Claude, I'm still concerned on the issue of how you deal with the part of addiction, because a lot of people are actually talking about this part. And you say that there's a rule that betting centers should not allow in addicted people. I'm trying to think of the practicability of this. How do you practically lock out someone and say, you are addicted, don't get in? And at the same time, this is a sporting betting company that requires money from this person. How genuine, how realistic is this? How do they do it?
Yeah, let's talk about realistic. An individual or a person cannot come and say, I'm addicted for the gambling. Yeah,
yes.
We need to understand.
So how will they know that this person is addicted?
If my wife is, if my
what if he doesn't
one
have
of
a
the
wife?
family,
What
one
if
of the
they don't have
family.
a
I
wife?
said
Now
one
look
of
at
the
this
family.
young man here. I'm even told he's a law student.
Yes.
Why on earth would you take part of your salary to invest on such a thing? You see, by now you should be trying to look for money, invest in a business, get a beautiful girl, and start a family. But you see what is happening is you're spending all your money on this betting thing.
From betting,
You know?
since I started doing it.
I don't know, but are there days you've lost? Are there days you've lost?
Yes, there are days I lost, there are days I earn.
Again.
But
So
at the end of the day,
can you say you've gained
at
more?
the end of the day,
Or
I've
can you say
gained more.
You've gained more.
I've gained more.
Okay, that is you, because I think maybe you were born. Which day were you born? You were born on a lucky day. What about somebody who keeps on losing and
Let's go
losing
back
and losing?
to the issue of addiction.
Let's come from that.
Yes. The issue of addiction.
The issue of addiction is a key issue.
Yes.
Which need a lot of energy to combat with, because without addiction, without looking on the addiction issues, the regulation is not there. Because we need to look about how we can control the addicted people.
Jean-Claude, with all due respect, you seem to be telling me you agree with everybody that there's a concern on addiction. But the key question, the bullet of my question is, how are you already dealing with that as a regulator?
It's all right to say, if we need to look at about the addiction, we need to look at where the gaming is taking place. We need to look at about
when are we going to start looking? Because you say we need to. When we are yes, good. That's the one. How are you doing it?
It's why I said before, but you have not taking the point very well. Yes. We thought when we start, the premises we have put on in the entertainment zone. But after that, we find that there's addiction people who can go in entertainment zone. We still find that we need to reduce the premises number and to talk about where the premises can be, where the gaming activity can be available. If I say the gaming will be available in the hotel bar, which is great from here, I can control the people who enter there. I can control, for example, 5-star bar. If it starts fast hotel, I can control the people who are addicted because there's camera system or there's everything. I can control the people who enter in the premises. We need to talk about
how does the camera know that you're addicted?
They will see.
Or your age.
In time you came to the premises. Yes. For example, I come from once. I come second. I come every day. You can see how many times I win.
So Jules, in other words, what he's saying is you could be stopped from taking part in gambling and sports betting because you say you keep doing it and most of the time you win. And he says we have cameras which continue to see the frequency of how many times you keep going in there. Are you concerned, and do you think this actually will work in terms of dealing with the addiction issue?
I think this addiction issue should also bring about the scientists or people who are more able to look at someone who is, because addiction issue is more moral thing than physical thing. I don't know if you are getting my point, but how are you going to know that me as Gilles Karangwa, I have become addicted? How are you going to know it as a regulator?
But he says that they're going to see from how long you, frequency, how many times do you come in there.
Which is even more risky because after
sometimes
getting the
I even don't go there. Sometimes I can take someone and go and press a bet.
Jean-Claude, they're shooting down that point of view.
I understand the point of view, and we need to understand that the gambling industry is not the only who have the issue, morality issue with the society. We have alcohol consumption.
But that's the topic of today.
Yeah, it's why I'm talking about that. Betting. We need to talk educated. The things which can take a place in every gaming regulation is the education. How we educated our people. How the education can go flow from the gambling. How the people can know that when I do the gambling, it's like entertainment. It's like to go in the cinema. It's like to go everywhere. Not to think that there's only.
But Eugene, on the position part where he talks about, it should be placed either in a hotel or in a bar, I'm even getting more worried. Because a gentleman goes and do the betting on the other side. Then he drinks the money on the other side. Then he comes back. So with that also, how sure are we that this money is going back to the family after working hard on it, investing
on it? The premises, when I have talking about the premises, you have not given me the floor that I can explain how we control the premises. The premises must be a separated rooms more than the bar where you can take a drink or more than the hotel where you can go to sleep. We're talking about the premises. A premises have the standards.
But these are public places we cannot control.
Let's
a premises have a standard. A premises have the standard. When you look at the law, Article 35, 36, and 34, they're talking about gaming programs, they're talking about premises, and they're talking about the security on the premises. We check that before we give them the license. Because the premises, you cannot come tomorrow and they said, I will go to put the premises under the school. I'm going to put the premises under the hospital. We check the premises before you carrying out or make available your gaming activity under the premises. If we find that the premises is not suitable, don't permit the premises, that this premises is not permitted. Even if when we came back, because we make this, we came to check any time when the operator is not allowed. And we can come to your premises and we find that there's a minnows, we close the premises, you get penalized.
Right. In a nutshell, Carlin, what he's saying, one of the big things that actually he mentioned is that there's need for change of mindsets.
Yes.
That going to participate in sports betting or gambling at any particular premise that is designated for that job or for that particular purpose should be seen as someone else who goes to watch a cinema or go for recreation at any place of their choice. Is society ready for this? Are you ready to look at it from that perspective? That if he goes to participate in sports betting, it's just the same as someone going to have a swim or to watch a movie somewhere else for recreation purpose?
No.
Let me go.
Let's have a point first.
No. What am I talking about? I will still go back to my point and say I will not encourage. I don't believe in this, and I will try by all means, whether it is personal, official, government, we discourage this sport pesa or this gambling or this betting. Because as I agree with somebody who tweeted there, it's good to eat from your sweat. It's good to plan from what you have. Because what am I talking about? But it gives people very high hopes. And by the way, I'm taking you back to the point of, for one person to win this thing, there is 1 million of people who invested their money on that. You getting that? Some genuinely had the money, okay? Some consciously decided to do it. Some did it. This young man can go and tell his friend, man, I've been getting good money, let's go with you. So now, there is that influence. And that brings the question, how do you stop this man from influencing his friends positively, isn't it, to go and invest? So there are a lot of questions that you really have to go through and have.
Let's go from our history.
Right.
When I was young, I was paying 500 to go to watch match. When Chelsea play with Arsenal, to enter the premises, I pay 500.
When you're 5 years old?
Yeah,
no,
on 18 years.
Okay.
And 10 years. I pay 500 to watch match. Now, people, they pay 500, they bet and they watch match. You understand? They have two possibilities. They have two added value. And I need to talk about that. Why I'm coming with that. I pay 500, I watch match. Even if I bet from my best team, what I prefer, and I can watch match in the good manner. What's the thing on that? People are enjoying the match, are enjoying the mood.
And they have a possibility of either making money,
I can make money,
or lose.
Or I can lose, but before I can pay money only to watch.
And you're also buying a drink.
The good things, how the state came to regulate these things.
Right.
This is the better thing. Because when I spend my money and I can pay to watch only without spending my money, I can spend a little bit money. The good thing, we need to understand how I use my money, how I determining how much I can put to the stake, how much can say this much. I can, even if I go to the alcohol consumption, let me put to the bet because I have used for entertainment.
Right. We have little time to go. Let's just sample some more tweets that have come in, and of course the tweets that are coming thick as fast, let's see them through the hashtag InFocusRW. So just keep them coming. There we go. We have one of them that is just going to be appearing on your screen right about now. We have Kiza Jackson who's saying, looking at the rate at which youths are getting addicted, betting in Africa, innovations, creativity and hard work will diminish. That, I think we had gone through that. Let's see if we have another one. There we go. Isabane says, the only issue is that gambling addiction is often associated with mental health problems, including desperations, mood disorders. And I've heard of some cases where people have actually committed suicide. We have one from Biawagamba Alois who says, gambling is like tobacco. Government gains much tax, even if they have impact on people. Itabirisha. Thank you so much for that particular tweet right there. And I think this is what will form the basis of our closing remarks on this particular session. Jules, we had not heard from you, and probably it's important to hear from you. You say that you do this with caution, and you have won more than you have lost. Take us through dealing with this issue of addiction and why it should not be a concern, or why it should be a concern for people who are watching us tonight.
Why should people not get concerned with the addiction?
Yes. Should they be concerned, the state of affairs today as it is, or they should not be concerned?
It comes back to the point I gave out. We need to do it wisely. We need to have a plan. As he talked it in any personal budget from everyone. I think when you get a salary, you have money to pay for the house, for the house. You have money. You
so
have
plan accordingly.
So which means in that particular money, you also have the money that you'll be investing in betting. So it's all about having a plan. It's all about doing it wisely. It's all about, I think we should even be thankful to the government, because as much as the sports betting in Rwanda is still in its infancy, it does also for the regulation, the regulatory framework, it is also in its infancy. It has not yet reached at the level we need. That's why.
So in one line, what is your message to those who are watching us and probably they want to bet or they've been betting and there's been this concern of public perception and all that, in one line, just as a closing remark?
My message: do it wisely, have a plan. If it doesn't happen, or if you feel unable to do that, just approach someone who is capable. Just approach someone who is, educated, who can help you more about how you can bet, how the sports betting functions. Because most people get trapped when they hear that someone can place a bet of 300 Rwandan francs and get 1 million.
Right.
So it doesn't come as for granted. It needs planning.
It needs planning. Caroline, as your closing thoughts, closing remarks, you've heard from the regulator, you've heard from a fan of betting and gambling. What are your closing thoughts?
Take care of what you have. Plan with it. That is whether your finances or your resources. Make use of them, all right? Where you are sure of a return. Avoid gambling. I will not support it.
You'd not support it?
No.
Jean-Claude, you've heard from that last tweet that we had, Itabiririsha. Tobacco is the same as what we see in gambling. As long as government is making revenue out of it, that is what he feels is a big concern. That are we just thinking about the revenues that we are roping in from this at the expense of the concerns of the people? How would you answer that?
My answer is simple. As a regulatory authority, we need to continue to see if the society is not addicted from the gambling. And it's also continue to see that if it's also continue to make money from the treasure. So we need to see if the society is not exploited, to ensure that, and also to see if the company enjoying the lights, the company who has invested enjoy the light. But we understand the concern. We take note of the concern. We need to ensure that the peoples who has addicted has been educated, has getting all the knowledge to understand that, and to see how we can protect the premises very well, and how the people can be aware of the law, because most of them individual is not aware of the gaming laws, and also how people can continue to enjoy its light, and also to continue remarkable to the economic growth of the countries.
Right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Jules, for coming. Thank you so much, Jean-Claude, and of course, Caroline, for making time on the program. Of course, this is definitely where we come to the end of the program tonight. We have heard from the regulator making a point that there is actually no cause for alarm on this particular issue. And of course, we'll be seeing you next time, same place, right here on Rwanda Television. See you.